Hello, my friends. Happy to be back at YourVision.blog, and today I have a fantastic guest. It's Nejc, and he is, a very cool guy. He is fantastic, and he's working in AI space. Happy to have you here, Nejc.
Thank you, Georg. I appreciate. I'm always happy to chat about AI, inspiration, future.
That's great. Nejc, you already told me a lot about what you're doing. Please share it with our guests, what you're doing and why you love AI.
Yeah, so for me, I love storytelling. I mean, I love a lot of things, and storytelling is one of the main ones. I also love technology. So I have been like for the last 9 years working in creative field across different areas and departments, and everything comes down to storytelling. How can I tell stories? And with AI, a lot of it changed. Like I saw like in June 20 when like Midjourney became commercially viable, kind of, that this is fundamentally changing how we create. And I was like, yeah, I want this. I want to do this. So I started very deeply researching and experimenting and applying this to my work and to work with other people. So like over the last year, I have worked with like production agencies, like advertising agencies, design departments, just like working and strategizing how can we use this new technology today, because like we all see that it is holding enormous potential for our future, but even today like it's already transformative and disruptive. So yeah, for me it unlocks a whole new thing when it comes to storytelling and our life as well. So that's very exciting for me and also very empowering and inspirational, because this has a lot of power and an individual person now has a lot of opportunities to create.
Why is storytelling so important for you, Nate?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's for all of us, right? Like storytelling is how we make sense of the world, how we people understand ourselves, our history, each other. So yeah, for me, like stories bring out worlds, they bring out communication. So if we don't know how to communicate, we are alone. But if we know how to communicate, then the whole world opens up, you know? And I think stories are one of the best ways to communicate, where you can like create worlds and possibilities for people. And that's like how I like to approach stories as well, of showing people a world or possibility they might not have thought of. And that kind of, opens up a new perspective, and then oh, I can do this, I can live this way. Yeah, of course. So yeah, I think storytelling is just a nice way to connect with people.
How can you combine AI with storytelling?
Oh, that's a good question. I think in the center, it's still about humans. Like, there's a lot of like fear and anxiety around AI and technology, and like rightfully so. Like, this technology is incredibly disruptive. Like, it is disrupting our very lives, like how we live. Like, our lives are never going to be the same. Like, we're not going to live the same ever again because of this new technology. And like, whenever we invent new technology, we also invent new responsibilities, and that's kind of where like the like trouble holds, that we don't talk about the responsibilities as much as about, oh, what does this technology do. So that's why I think it's very much on humans, on like combining storytelling and AI. Like, I am a storyteller and I have an assistant now, which is an AI assistant, and I have a new tool which, again, it can be an AI tool, but kind of like the communication comes from me, because AI is not autonomous. It cannot create things. It needs our guidance. It needs our input. And that's why it's still about us, our human input. And we are creating the emotional connection. Like, we can connect now, like talking, but you wouldn't connect as much if, I used AI to talk with you, because it doesn't have that capacity to create an emotional connection, at least not yet. Who knows what the future will be. So that's how I see it. I see this combining like my own self, my own expressions, my own messages, my own feelings, and then using like these assistants that can contribute to bringing my vision to life. But I'm not like, oh, hey, do this for me. No, it's more like I will do it, but I will have some help.
So human is very social, and we also need the connections. And you think AI is a good help, but the connection and the communication must be between human?
I think so. I mean, it's a different form of intelligence, and definitely it does not have emotional intelligence at the moment. Like what AI does, it's a generative predictive model, like GPT, generative predictive transformer. So what it does, it generates based on predictions made on the input data. So, it's a different form of communication and intelligence. So it will give you an answer that is the highest chance of being correct from like the data set it has, like from the training it had, but that doesn't really, work for emotions and feelings, and that's why, like, to do that, like, it's still a very human thing, like connecting with another human. I feel like that's like a very important thing to point out, that like we should be practicing this like human connection, because it is easy to get disconnected in today's like technological world. You have like all this technology, you can just type, you literally don't have to talk to a human being to get food or anything like that, it just arrives at your doorstep, so I do think like it's gonna become increasingly more important to like foster this human connection and the emotional journey for your audience, and all of the things that we as creatives create for them.
And Nejc, you're using AI as your assistant for storytelling.
Yeah,
Can you tell
yeah.
us a little bit about your project, what you're doing?
So I have quite a lot of projects going on. I'm a very like active person, and very entrepreneurial. So I end up doing a lot of things and projects that bring me enjoyment, and they are all different. So which also like is kind of fun for me. So maybe like one project I can point out, or a few, just like how I'm using it. Every step of the way, basically, like the AI tools are maybe like two differentiators. Again, I mean, there are many, like this is a very big area opening up, but like two main differentiators is like they're conversational. So like the GPT and like all the Claude and large language models, they are conversational, which is kind of like an amazing assistant when you think about it. You just say what you want and it gives you back, And of course, like the communication and prompting, like that's like upon improvement, like improving your communication and input, you'll get better output. But like there is no real limit of what you can do. It's literally like whatever I can communicate to the AI, I'll be able to get assistance with. So like if I am, for example, we are creating a short story, like a 5-minute short story, and I need ideas. I need like, all right, who is the main character? Who can be the antagonist? Like, how does this look like? Then how does the story structure look like? I want it to have like, I don't know, 7 points or like 3 plot points, whatever. And then like, can you convert this to a shot list? Like, how would the visuals look like? Basically, it's, I'm just talking with an assistant, literally. And like this, we already have this like human assistants as well.
Yes.
And this is kind of like where it comes up of like, oh damn, is it like taking jobs like AI in a capitalistic world? Probably, yeah. Like, but on the other hand, how I see it is that an individual person, for example, me, I'm in a room, I can create a short story by myself. And for me, that is freaking incredible because I don't know, I love creating. I think like creating is such a great thing to do, like self-expression. You have like this vision and, the idea in your mind, the story, and then you can just like, bam, I'm going to do it. And you can. And, I find that amazing. So yeah, that's how I use like these conversational language models. And on the other hand, like there are more specific tools which are not just text based. For example, I use Stable Diffusion a lot for images and animation. And there you have like more parameters. It's a bit technical. So it becomes more like a combination of conversational and, let's say, Adobe After Effects or Photoshop or something like that. Like combine that two together. So then you have like okay, this is what it can help me with. And, these are the tools.
Wow. So you're a very inspirational person. That's really
Oh, thank you.
fantastic. That's really great, Nate. And can you tell us how you can help the people here?
Yeah, so like a lot of my work is also education based. So I create a lot of educational materials and I do master classes, workshops, trainings, stuff like that. So on one
How
side, I
can I
do
access the master classes and the education? Do you have a website for this?
I do have a website and I have a newsletter where I post like my updates and send out like whatever I'm doing. My website is basically my name, nejc.art. But like
Okay.
pronunciation is different, so like probably just type in
We
my
will
name.
announce it below in the text that the people can
Nice,
find
nice.
it. Mhm.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, on one side I work very corporate, where we do like corporate trainings and workshops. So we have one masterclass starting on Wednesday, which is like in a few days. I'm very excited
Mhm.
for it. I think it's gonna be great. And then on the other hand, I do it like also personally with like video courses, and I'm also starting a group where like basically people can have access to industry professionals and collaborate. And we will do like monthly sessions of like, hey, here's something you can learn this month, or then another free Q&A where you can like, I have a question about this thing and we can just discuss and stuff like that. So yeah, I really like to be around people. I like people and I like to, help and inspire them. So that's why I kind of go into education as well, because I think that's, that's the way to inspire and to transform, like with knowledge and understanding, rather than just like, running and then, all suddenly we're in a different world.
You mentioned you inspire people, and this blog is also here to inspire the others. And there's always the main question, Nate, what is your vision? Nate, you already spoke about your inspiration, and it's great what you're doing. And the main question here is always, what is your vision?
Yeah, so I have many, I guess. I'm a very dreamy person. I like to think about the future and all these things. But I do think, like, for me, a vision would be balance and a harmonious balance between technology and humans. I feel like that is the way to go, that we are together in this world and not like separate. We're not like, oh, this is AI, this is us. No, like we can coexist. And that's why, like, in my teaching and education, I always talk about this, as I did here, like how humans are important. Like we build this technology, we are the ones using it. So I do think like empowering humans and creating an opportunity for them to touch these tools in like a comfortable way. I think that's a very valuable thing to have in this rapidly transforming world. So for me, yeah, like creating hands-on learning experience, hands-on communities that will enable people to be with like-minded people, have a comfortable interaction with the technology without having the fear, and then, progress through it and like learn new things. And once you do step into it, you really feel empowered. You're like, oh my God, this is giving me superpowers. I can do all of these things. So it really becomes, a very fun experience and a fun journey. But again, it is like we're all together. We're not like separate against technology or anything like that.
I think it's very important to have no fear using AI.
I think it's good to have your so for me, I,
Yeah,
I really like to be, yeah, I like to be in the middle of like, all right, there is excitement, but there's also fear. I always go both sides. I look across the field as much as I can. I don't just like say, all right, this is one thing, this is it. No, I will usually be like, oh, the other thing, other thing, other thing, other thing. I'm a very lateral person like that. I think there is very high danger with this, but again, it comes down to humans. Like we are the ones who are going to use it. So like if a human, like a person says, oh, I want to abuse this technology, they can, it's not a thing they can do. But on the other hand, like, how do we want to use this technology? So yeah, that's why like I want to be on the other side of like, okay, this is empowering. Like this technology can help us create, it can help us express, it can help us connect to our humanity, and be step into the new like era that we're going into with like kind of confidence and embrace, instead of being like, oh damn, like this is gonna hurt us, it's gonna endanger us, which it can, but that's not my message. I would prefer to be on the other side.
and do you think that AI can have emotions like human, that we cannot differ in the future between human and AI?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I think no. I think no. The way AI is currently built, it is fundamentally different. Like it's binary. It is ones and zeros. It's ones and zeros. But we are biological beings, and I think quantum computing is like the next kind of like piece of the puzzle in this for this question, because I think that will unlock a new type of computing and intelligence, computational intelligence. But for now, with like the way we're building it, I don't think it will be develop emotions as we humans do. It might in some way, which might be interesting, and it might also kind of work. But I think at the moment it's fundamentally different, like the way it processes information and the way it interacts.
It will be also used for abuse and for scams, that for sure. And the shift from personal contact was away more to digital contact. And it's my personal opinion. I think in the future, the personal contact will become more and more important in the future. because you cannot be sure who contacts you. Is this a computer or is this human? And then you need a personal contact to the people, and it will become again more and more important. And now my sales guy,
Yeah.
so personal contact is very important for me.
Yeah. No,
So
no, I agree 100%. I think, and that's why like I keep saying like, connection with human beings. And I see this like as my biggest fear is that we'll completely disconnect because we don't have to, because it's so easy to be disconnected. You can just be at home talking with an AI. Why do you need a person? So that's why I think like it's important to have these conversations and, enforce a bit of humanity and connection.
and also, yeah, we should have fear of using AI, that we use it right. And AI has huge potential. If the companies use it right, they don't eliminate jobs. They will use AI additional that the people can concentrate more on their work. So this will give a boost for the companies who use it right. You also have experience with companies who use AI, if they use it right or if they use it in the wrong way. Do you have experience here, Nate?
Yeah, so I last year I worked with quite a lot of companies. One of them was like a production company, a previs studio for like Hollywood movies. So like before a movie gets made, they make like a previs of like, oh, how is this going to look like? Make the environment, the characters, stuff like that. So most of my work is helping them adopt this technology. And like as I said, the way I like to approach it and teach it is like very human centered. Like, all right, we're humans. What can we do? How can this help us? It's not as much about, oh, I want like something to run all the time. I just want to automate it. Because then again, like everyone can do that. Like everyone can press that button and say, okay, make a movie for me. I mean, it doesn't work that way, of course. The technology is not there yet. But let's say it does come to that point where it can just like shoot out movies. Everyone can do it. Like, how are you going to be different? You're going to be different by being you, by having feelings, by expressing. So that's why, like, yeah, the way I like to work with these companies is that, like, okay, what are you doing? What are your strong points? What are your people good at? How can we enhance them? So it's more about enhancing the humans than it is, okay, we're bringing in a new thing and it's going to, change everything. I don't know. First of all, I don't think that's a good approach because like disruptive approaches and extremely disruptive technology, yeah, can create a lot of like confusion and unresolved feelings as well. So yeah, definitely like companies who approach it from the perspective of we are going to enhance what we're already doing, I think that's a great approach. And on the other hand, it's like, all right, we just want to automate everything so we can make more. I don't think that's excellent because we already have a lot and do we need more?
Nate, you have a lot of experience and you're working together with companies, with production companies. And can you tell us something from the real world, an example of what you're doing with this production company?
Yeah, so this was last at the beginning of last year, where like since then technology has evolved a lot. But what we were doing is basically using these new technologies, AI tools, to improve our work, to improve the workflow, to improve the pipeline. And again, like there were a lot of people involved in each department, and there are certain tools that can help each department in their own ways. So there was a 2D department where we like did storyboards, we did animatics, a lot of concepting, mood boards, like that was the initial stages of everything. And we also moved into like some 3D models and some shapes and texturing. So it's more about this, like how does the process look like? How does the pipeline look like? Because everyone has their own creative process, everyone knows how to make things, how to go from nothing to something that is your final product. So it's more about the question of what are these steps and which technology and tool can contribute to each of these steps. And as a person, like as the creator, like the person who works, a great skill to develop is like management and curation because you will have a lot of output and you'll have a lot of assistants. Like if you want, you can have an assistant for everything. Something can like write you scripts, something can make you images, something can make you audio. Like you have all of these assistants available and it's up to you to like manage them, and say, okay, this is good, this is not good, and then communicate, okay, what do I actually want? So
Mhm.
that's like another good skill to develop in this new, age of creating and working.
Nate, and such a project you made for example, for which company?
So I worked on quite a lot of different projects in the last year, and this year is also looking very interesting and fun. But yeah, aside from like trainings and workshops, I've worked with like AI products. So like there was a campaign from Coca Cola last year where I helped like consult on how we can integrate like AI to execute the vision. So I was connecting the dots between like the technical part and the art part. So like the art director had a vision. He was like, okay, this is what we want to see. And then we have the technology, and then like the developers can help put that technology in an architecture that will communicate the style and the feelings that the art director wants. So that was a very fun project. I really enjoyed it, and I worked on a few of these, like just creating like AI customized apps, I guess, or like workflows, pipelines, architectures. And I really enjoy it because like it's in kind of an open space, like this is a new technology. We don't fully know what all we are capable of. So every time there is a project like this, we're like, oh my God, we can build something new. We can figure something new out. And, that can bring like a new way of creating to us and, a new way of interacting with ourselves and the world, basically.
Wow, that's really fantastic. And that's really great to hear that such an input is coming from Europe, and yeah, that here the countries here and the people here are at the forefront. That's really great. So, Nate, really, thanks a lot. It was really a
Absolutely.
great insight what you're doing. It's fantastic. We will mention your website and the link to your masterclass below in the text, and also the link how the people can contact you. And I wish you all the best, and yeah, looking forward to hear something new again from you. Thanks, Nate.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the conversation. I'm always happy to chat. Reach out anytime. Like I said, I think we should build like the world with inspiration and empowerment. I'm very happy to meet other people who are doing the same thing in a similar direction.